Hi everybody and welcome to episode 3 of You Don't Even Know with the Data Book team at Hachette Australia.
Hiya.
Hello. Just fair warning, this episode we are going to be talking about some darker themes that are in this book. So if you need to talk to anybody, we will be putting some numbers up on the screen right now for you to contact. Our date of the month for September is The Taste of Blue Light by Lydia Ruffles, and this is our proof copy here. So Kim, what do you think?
I absolutely adored this book. It starts off so emotionally and you're just dragged into how the characters react to each other. I loved Lux. She was just perfect to be narrating this story and I fell for her so much. It was so emotional. But it was a really, really good book.
You just have no idea what's going on for most of the time and you still just keep reading. You don't feel... You feel as lost as what Lux does, I think, but you don't get lost in the story at all. Like, you just have to keep reading. I just was like, I need to find out what happens to her, and the prose is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really beautifully written. Yeah. It's quite different to a lot of YA that we read. It's like, it was like a really nice change.
Slightly more literary. But
yes.
There were so many sentences I went back and read again because they were so beautifully written that I needed to process it for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Well, I was like hooked from like the first sentence. It's I will find the old Lux, and when I do, I will climb back inside her and sew myself into her skin so I never get lost again. Like,
so nice. The best opening is those sentences that just grab you, grip you, and don't let you go. And this book does it the whole way through.
Yeah. And I love how far inside her head you get. It's one of those books where you completely forget everything except what you're reading.
Except what you're reading. Like, I just didn't look up the whole time I was reading the book. I totally just disappeared inside it and inside Lux's head. It is quite a dark, scary place.
Yes.
It's beautiful in some ways, but it has really sharp edges, I think.
Especially because...
Sorry. Did you get a sense of claustrophobia from being inside?
A bit.
I did. I totally did at the beginning. Do you guys remember when I said it was hurting my head to read it?
I had to put it down for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I
come back to it.
I felt like, just like how Lux kind of is disassociating from herself in the book, I disassociated from myself reading it. I looked up from it at work and said to Ash, I was like, I'm feeling really odd. So definitely only read this book if you're in a good headspace already and you have a good team of book lovers around you to discuss it with, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
The other thing that I really liked about this book is it keeps you guessing the whole way through, which is always amazing in any book, but the payoff was worth it. By the time you got to the big reveal, it was completely worth it.
Yeah, and you realised that it had been hinted at throughout and you had missed it all. It was so subtle and so tied together nicely, and as someone who's actually quite a big fan of crime fiction as well, I didn't see the twist about like what really happened to her.
I think it's the kind of book you could read twice and get more out of it the second time round because you'd pick up on all the clues that you missed because you didn't know what the truth was.
And I think I could recommend this quite widely to people as well. Not just kind of in the YA community. Like I'd suggest my parents and my brother and everyone kind of read this as well.
Too.
What do you guys think of our cover? The fantastic snowdrops on it.
Well, they make so much sense once you have read the book, the snowdrops. I kind of became a bit obsessed with snowdrops after that.
I didn't even know what they were.
I did a thing this morning where I googled what they meant, and they're a symbol of I know exactly the language of flowers, but they're a symbol of like hope and rebirth. And
they only flower in winter, right?
They only flower in winter. That's because they bloom through the snow, so that's the hope coming through.
It's so perfect for this book.
Andrew is our resident botanist, so he knew what they were already.
They are plants. Say, the cover of the book did confuse me when I was first introduced to it, as it has the word blue on the cover, even though it's completely red, and everyone was talking about it, didn't know what they were on about.
It's like colourblind.
Once you start reading it, you get a bit of a clue.
It makes so much more sense.
It's a twist that tells you what blue light really means.
I can also only speak for the first 2 chapters which I've read, but I was getting a bit of a sense of a Skins vibe. I don't know if it's just because it was an English school and everyone's like living kind of extreme lives from the first
there's a bit of partying, a bit of drug abuse, but also that real artistic edge to it as well.
Yeah, definitely Skins. That's a really good comparison. But I would recommend, if you're going to read this book, try and stay spoiler free. Try not to spoil it for other people because, like Ash said, the ending is going to pay off so much. But because this book does deal with some darker themes, we don't know what has happened to Lux, but we kind of piece together the puzzle as we go along the book. It kind of brought up the discussion with us about trigger warnings. And trigger warnings in YA in particular, should they be included in a book? Should they be included in the marketing? And this has especially come up recently with 13 Reasons Why. So what do we all think about this topic?
I don't see why it would be harmful to have trigger warnings. I mean, it's just another little extra bit of text that I think can really help some people in identifying whether a book is right for them or not. Yep. I mean, I was concerned about reading Taste of Blue Light because I thought it might include certain themes, and I in the end had to go to my friends who had already read it and say, is this going to distress me or not? Whereas maybe if it was normalized to have trigger warnings on things, if it was absent or included, you would know whether or not.
I think it's so hard to avoid dangerous topics in our world. We're exposed to so much that not just in books and movies, but in real life, that it can't hurt to warn someone that there's something in here that can affect you.
Yeah, because we don't know everyone's story. So I think even in terms of how we market a book as publishers, we could also be including these warnings. But then also with the TV show, for instance, what did we all think about that? Because they had the follow-up, Beyond the Reasons. Was that the little follow-up?
Yeah, they did like a behind-the-scenes sort of talking more about the themes and everything
and
like that.
And then they had the warnings before the particularly heavy episodes.
Yeah.
What do we think of that happening after the fact?
I thought that the trigger warnings were good, except for the way that Netflix worked for me. When I skipped the intro, it skipped the trigger warnings.
Oh, did it?
Oh,
no.
Yeah, and so I was really shocked at some of that content in there.
It's quite full on.
I don't know. I think trigger warnings are kind of a good medium in between totally censoring difficult topics and being like, no, this is too hard for readers of YA and teens, and instead just finding a middle ground so that if they do need parental supervision or just help with friends and stuff, that there's a place that they can go, they know what they're getting into first,
that they know the people who they can talk to
about it. Yeah, exactly, rather than just saying, no, this topic is too heavy for teens, because I think that's really patronizing, and this stuff does happen in their lives, and it's not helpful to not represent it whatsoever in novels and movies.
I definitely believe YA should be there to help teach and bring up these difficult issues. And also, I think that also finds a good middle ground. When you go to the other extreme, it's like, oh, this book is too heavy for teens, we should ban it.
Yeah, exactly.
And, at least if the warning is there, that can warn parents if they are choosing what their teen is reading. But then there's also the other extreme where you get particularly like more violent books. Have you noticed in bookstores they're wrapped in plastic or they're not on the shelf, so you have to request them? Yeah, more adult books, so like a Bret Easton Ellis, for instance, you have to request American Psycho at the counter. You can't get it from the bookshelf because they're afraid of younger people picking it up. Yeah, so that's also the other extreme you could go to.
Yeah, it is funny though how violence generally in YA novels, like, I don't know, people's arms being cut off in sword fights and things like that.
Oh, eyes being pulled out.
Yeah, it's so not censored whatsoever, but then the second that there's drug use or any sexual contact of any sort, it's
swearing even.
Yeah. Then it's that's too much. But violence is okay.
Maybe it's like fantasy versus close to reality.
Depending on the genre.
Yeah, but it also depends on the person watching or reading.
Is there a similar topic like in computer games, I think? Because there's so much violence.
Yeah, so much violence.
Aren't computer games still, they have ratings and stuff as well?
Do.
Like
Some are banned in Australia.
Books aren't rated that way.
No.
So
yeah, sometimes a rating I think would actually help. I mean, I know that Academics near us has an MA15 plus section of YA, which generally has the sexiest stuff in it. If you're of age,
so it's like that new adult, young adult crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is helpful for those of us who are too old to be reading YA and like it a bit heavier.
Never
too old.
That is more controversial than anything we've spoken about.
Yes. So what do we think about Lux as a character? She's not a very likable character at the beginning.
Her past made her unlikable because she was a bit of a party hard, tread on the little people sort of attitude.
I think she was quite happy to use people for her own gain, and there's kind of that attitude at that art school that of doing anything for art anyway, and I think she very much bought into that and into doing whatever she wanted to be free and creative. And obviously she's so changed after what happens to her. You don't know what happens to her, but you just know that something has happened, and she's a totally different person, and it really wigs out her friends.
And she can really see through like the BS of that school.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the main character in Louise O'Neill's Asking For It, who is also a victim, she was an unlikable character. She's kind of the mean girl and didn't treat her peers very well. And again, the same in Lauren Oliver's Before I Fall.
Yeah.
Sam is also an unlikable person, and they've all been put through certain challenges, and it's like kind of bad things happening to bad people, and you as the audience are supposed to feel bad for this person, but there's the conflict of them being that not very nice person. But I don't know, like it's kind of like they learn from their experiences and
I think it
redeem
shows
themselves.
that bad things can happen to anyone and it's not always just someone that's nice, and just because someone is bad doesn't mean they were ever asking for it. Like just because someone was a bit of a mean girl at school doesn't mean that they were ever asking for something however horrible to happen to them.
So it challenges your personal
morals
and your empathy. Which is a good thing.
And it's interesting the way that you see people through their eyes because they're learning that other people have their own things to deal with, and that how you treat people is really important.
It's really important,
And this book, along with like Before I Fall, like just gives you like a new appreciation for parents. And what your parents go through when you're a teenager.
Sorry, Mum.
I felt that so much with Before I Fall, and I felt it with this one too, because Lux's parents, while they might be a little bit distant, like they're trying so hard to help.
They care so much.
I didn't know how to take her parents because she was so at arm's length with them. So the whole time you think, well, maybe they are bad parents, but you have to make that decision as you find out otherwise.
I wonder if that's just because we're older readers. I wonder how teenagers read this and think of their parents.
Tell us in the comments below if you push away your parents.
Oh, wow.
I think I did when I was a teenager. I think it's something that you think that they can't possibly understand.
It's a bit of a rite of passage, isn't it?
And what's happening. And as you grow older, you just feel thankful that they stuck with you through all of it.
I think it was too nice. I should have been more rebellious.
More rebellious. You miss your chance now. You can't.
I'm with Andrew. I didn't rebel as a teen, and my mum's one of my best friends. So
I was just very angsty. I was very close with my mum, but I'm very angsty.
So because we love this book so much, we have made our own creepy trailer. Well, when I say we, I mean Andrew has made a really creepy trailer. So
we helped.
We did. It's our voice.
We're
our idea.
So have a look.
What happened to you? What happened to you? What happened to you? What happened to you? Turn your nightmares red. What happened to you? What happened to you? Langley, to turn your nightmares red. What happened to you? Langley, to turn your nightmares red. What happened to you? Langley, to turn your nightmares red.
Okay, so it's time now to do our speed date for September. Andrew, could you choose our question, please?
I can, Jenks.
Be careful with the ball.
Sorry, I probably scrunched it. If you could be a superhero and could choose one power, what would it be?
I've thought about this question a lot.
I would teleport. That would be my superpower. So I could teleport anywhere in the world. Maybe if you guys let me, I will teleport also 3 times. So I don't know if that's being greedy, 2 powers in one.
That could help.
But how good would it be to leave work at 5 and arrive home at 5?
Nice. And just go to London.
But not live where you work. Anywhere in the world. You can go on holidays any minute.
Pack a bag.
Go and get macarons from
I could
Paris.
go to Paris for lunch.
Right after this. Can you take other people with you?
Can you take other people?
We'll come.
One at a time.
Or it'd be helpful to us if you can go into the future and tell me like what I'm going to be like. But then, but then do I want to know that?
Do you want to know?
Oh, that's a different discussion.
Too much power. Too much power.
What's your power, Kim?
I would want telekinesis. I want to be able to move things in my mind. Yeah.
Would you use it for harm or for good, Kim?
Good, obviously.
Do you just want to like throw things at people or like Matilda style?
Yeah, Matilda style.
Matilda or Charm?
See, because Charm would probably be where it came from. Yeah.
I would want to be invisible. So no, but not in like a
creepy.
way. But no, it would be good for like those awkward moments where I could just be like,
Is anything you touch also becomes invisible?
Like your clothes.
Oh,
otherwise you have to take off all your clothes every time you
said
turn
it.
invisible.
Could you be a shoplifter is what I'm
I could. The clothes question, I hadn't considered that. I think is it Fantastic Four, when she goes invisible, she has to take off her clothes every time?
Yeah.
Except when she's wearing her suit.
So you need to have a
Special
suit. So I would need a special suit.
A special suit.
But I think we can make it work.
You could quit publishing and become like a PI. Be a good way to get like the details on people.
Yes.
Would you use it to spy on people? I would.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Definitely. I have no qualms. And I could be good or evil. I'll take whatever side will
Depends what
Pay
the
most.
power.
pay me most.
I would have mind control power because then anything I want I can just convince someone to give me or do for me. I'll be like,
Nice.
let me into this restaurant, give me your car.
So you fall into the evil category.
Oh, absolutely.
we should pair up.
Yeah, oh my god. We could make such a team.
This is the David Tennant mind control.
Absolutely.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Jessica Jones. Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
I
He's
know.
so horrible in that.
But he gets stuff done.
Gets stuff done.
I feel like I should choose one of those superpowers that like encompasses other ones. Like,
Oh,
for
like wishing
example,
for more wishes.
yeah, like Storm can fly and control the weather. But I've just, because it's come into my mind, I've chosen weather control.
Why?
Is that just because it's windy today?
Yeah, well, I could calm things down if I wanted to.
Well, what would you do with weather control? How would that
Don't
benefit
know.
you?
I always
as an
thought
individual?
Storm was like the most boring.
Really? I could reverse climate change in small
Oh,
areas.
you're
so
doing
that's-
it for good on a
So,
large
yeah,
scale.
there
Like
is
the
a-
Captain Planet.
Exactly. Actually,
Guys, we're gonna have to cut that. We'll get sued.
Well, if we were Captain Planet, I would want to be fire. I'm not being hot.
Oh no, I would be water.
I think I'd be air.
Captain Planet used to give me nightmares as a small child.
Is it because you lit it all the time?
I got nightmares from everything. Captain Planet, Power Rangers, Narnia. I got nightmares from everything.
The witches in Narnia were pretty scary though.
The Witches. That movie gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
It was a good book though.
Oh my god.
What are we talking about?
Mark
Are we
T,
done?
the power of
Superheroes.
heart. Everyone hates that
Heart.
part, but you know,
Yeah.
Dr. Dolittle and
What does
Eliza
that do?
Thornberry both have similar powers, and they have whole shows about them.
Yeah. Oh, cool to animals. That would
Yeah.
be a
They were
great
cooler than the guy in
superpower.
Captain Planet. He just had a monkey. The monkey was cooler than him.
Yeah.
So last month we got to show off some of the pretty proofs that we have coming up for the rest of the year. And so we have a few more that have arrived in the office. So this one is out in May, and this is the most gorgeous proof I have ever seen. It's called The Beast's Heart. It is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast by a debut author, and we can't wait for you guys to read it.
All the foil.
All the foil. And next we have the paperback copy of King's Cage. Kim's favourite series. And have we heard anything else about book 4, Kim?
Oh, we just know it's coming next year.
Oh, lips
Exciting.
sealed. And finally, we got trade paperback copies of Stalking Jack the Ripper, which has been an in-office favourite.
This is one of my favourite books from last year. I can't wait for everyone else to
so
sort of dive
excited.
into it. It's great.
It is so cool. And look out, later in the year, we may be doing a read-along for this one. So, that's the end of episode 3. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know in the comments below what you think about trigger warnings in YA, and what would your superpower be. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Yay! Yay! All right, and now before I forget, I will do the book.